It is my great pleasure to join you today as we commemorate World Malaria Day 2026. This year's global theme, Driven to End Malaria, Now We Can, Now We Must. It speaks directly to where we stand as a country and as a global community. Our national call, Zero Malaria, Kaunti Zetu, Jamii Zetu, Wakati Wetu, grounds this ambition in our own reality that ending malaria in Kenya will depend on the actions we take at county level, within our communities, and at this very moment. Today we are here not to dwell on what we have missed, but to reflect on how far we have come and to celebrate the gains we have achieved together. Over the past decade, Kenya has steadily pushed back the burden of malaria, with prevalence declining from 8% to 6%. Even more striking in the progress made in the recent years, in just the last 3 years, malaria incidence has reduced by 31%. That level of progress within such a short time is not very ordinary. It is a strong indicator to what focused effort, coordination, and shared commitment can achieve through the distribution of millions of insecticide-treated nets, the expansion of door residue spraying, the deployment of larva source management, and we have strengthened vector control across the country. At the same time, we have scaled up effective case management through prompt diagnosis and treatment, expanded preventive interventions such as intermittent preventive treatment in pregnancy and seasonal malaria chemoprevention. And of course, we have introduced malaria vaccines in eligible populations. Equally important has been the role of communities through community case management of malaria through community health promoters, social and behavior change initiatives, and household level actions that promote prevention, early care seeking, and treatment adherence. These efforts have been complemented by strengthened surveillance systems with near universal reporting and completeness, as well as robust epidemic preparedness and response mechanism. However, good work creates even greater responsibility. Sustaining this significant progress requires consistency, resilience, and resources. Yet we find ourselves operating in an environment where the resource envelope is increasingly constrained. Competing health priorities, shifting donor landscape, and economic pressures mean that we must now do more with less. This reality demands a shift in how we think and how we act. We must be more innovative, and we must be more efficient, and we must be more strategic in how we deploy the tools we already have. Innovation requires us to use data for decision-making, targeting interventions where they are needed most, and ensuring that every investment delivers maximum impact. It calls on us to embrace digital health solutions, strengthening community-led approaches, and integrating malaria efforts within broader health systems reforms, including our ongoing journey towards universal health coverage. At the same time, we must confront the emerging threats that risk undermining the gains that we have made. Among these is the growing challenge of anti-malaria resistance. Resistance to anti-malaria and insecticides is not a distant possibility. It is a present and evolving reality. If left unchecked, it could reverse years of progress and place millions of lives at risk. This is why Kenya has taken a bold and forward-looking step by adopting the multi-first-line therapy. As one of the first countries to implement this approach, we are demonstrating leadership and commitment to staying ahead of resistance. MFT is not just technical adjustment. It is very strategic, and a strategic shift that is designed to preserve the efficacy of our treatment and safeguard the future of malaria case management. Just a few days ago, during the World Malaria Day media breakfast, we launched the guidelines to support our malaria response. And these guidelines are the product of extensive technical work, collaboration, and evidence. But let me say this clearly, that guidelines alone do not save lives. Guidelines must not sit in our shelves. They must be translated into action, into better diagnosis, into better treatment, into better prevention, into better outcomes for our people. Every policy must reach the last mile, not just commodities, but the policies must be translated into that which will gain momentum, into the action that is required for the communities, for our people to prevent malaria. Every strategy, again, must be felt in the household. Every intervention must make a difference in the life of a child, a mother, and the family. While we reflect on the synthesize our national theme for this year's commemoration, Zero Malaria, Kaunti Zetu, Jamii Zetu, Wakati Wetu, we are equally reminded that the journey to elimination is anchored at the county level. Health is a devolved function, and that is why I am happy when I see us working very closely with the county government, because every implementation of the policies that we are crafting must be done at the county level. So Kaunti Zetu, our counties are the true engines of implementation, and it is within the counties that plans are translated into actions. Resources are prioritized and allocated, and accountability is exercised closest to the people that we serve. Strengthening county leadership, building capacity, and fostering ownership are therefore not optional, they are essential if we are to achieve and sustain the zero malaria. Tukiongea mambo ya jamii zetu, communities, they are not just beneficiaries again, they are partners. The community health promoters, the local leaders, and the households themselves are a heart of malaria prevention and control. From consistent use of nets to early treatment seeking behavior, community action determines the success or failure of the same. Na tukisema ni wakati wetu, the time is now to act now. When I am the PS, it is when I want to see zero malaria in Kirinyaga County. We cannot afford complacency. The gains that we have made are very fragile. MCA here is still talking about some water that is clogged somewhere. So we are chancing, whether to eliminate, or when the water continues to be there, there's still going to be malaria. We are not stopping to have rice fields in Mwea. They are still going to continue to be there. So how do we deal with all this? The climate change is altering transmission patterns. New vectors, such as the Anopheles, are emerging. Resistance is growing, and yet, at the same time, we have more tools, more knowledge, we have more experience than ever before. So this is the paradox of our time, that we are closer than ever to ending malaria. Yet, the final stretch demands our greatest effort. And that is why we are saying, wakati wetu. Hii malaria itaisha when we are still alive and we can see our children enjoying to go to school without interruptions. Let's all remember today that malaria is not just a health issue, but it's a development issue, because it affects productivity, education, economic growth. So ending malaria is therefore not only about saving lives, but it is also about unlocking the full potential of the nation. A malaria-free Kenya is within reach. But it will not happen by chance. It will happen by choice, by the choices that we make today, the actions that we take, and the commitments that we uphold. So let us be driven by the belief that now we can. Let us be guided by the urgency that now we must. And let us act together, kaunti zetu, jamii zetu, wakati wetu, to achieve a future where no Kenyan suffers or dies from a preventable and treatable disease.